Welcome. It's Horror 31st. Every day is Horror 31st.
All right, welcome horror community. This is our first ever video for Horror 31st. I'm Stock.
I'm Pooh.
You say it for yourself.
Let's redo that.
No, you don't have to. Keep it in it. This is raw. This is raw. All right, this is how we actually started the video. But today we're gonna be ranking the Friday the 13th franchise. And you know, this video will be dropping on the 13th of May, which is Friday the 13th, which is very cool. And tell the quick story on how that happened, that idea.
So we were watching one of the Friday films. I forget which one it was. It might have been Takes Manhattan, I think.
It might have been.
I'm pretty sure it was Takes Manhattan. And you know, we were just chilling afterwards, talking about starting the YouTube channel. And I was like, you know, it'd be a good date. There's a Friday the 13th that's coming up anytime soon. We should probably do it that day. We'd probably post our first video. So then I'm like, you know, let's check. And I was expecting it to be like at least half a year away. And then I check, it's literally in a month. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's next month. We're watching the Friday the 13th. There's a Friday the 13th next month. We got to do it.
It was meant to be. We weren't expected to start so soon, but it kind of one of those meant to be things, and that's why we're here. And another cool stat is we're filming this on the Monday before this Friday that you guys are going to see the video, and this is the 42nd anniversary of the first Friday the 13th film. So
two very important dates.
Yeah, the stars aligned. The stars aligned for this video. But okay, here we go. So number 11 on the rankings, and we actually match on this one.
Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
So it's Jason Takes Manhattan. To me, this movie has none of the magic from the earlier films. I think this movie is the only one I could say that bores me. I feel like there's boring parts in it and I kind of zone out of it. I know you can relate to that.
Yeah, no, definitely there are some parts I zoned out with. Like, even after the movie, I had to watch some reviews and stuff to be like, what actually happened in this? Because I kind of didn't follow it completely.
Yeah, it's just a lot of points is just uninteresting. And just to state the obvious on this is over an hour of the film's on a boat. It's not even in Manhattan. Like, they're on that boat and I get it if it's the beginning of the movie, but a whole hour.
Yeah, then even when they were in Manhattan, like there was only one good Manhattan scene that was in Times Square. Because I watched one video, like apparently the budget, like there is too much money to get on the Brooklyn Bridge, the Empire State Building, so they only have one scene.
Yeah, I mean that scene's cool. I mean, like the iconic shot of like Jason in Times, like that's a really cool shot. But like, the majority of it is just wasted. The characters are unmemorable, and then something I gotta say in this quick ranking is the ending shot of when he gets unmasked and I think he just looks so goofy, like just incredibly goofy. Probably the worst he looks without a mask in the whole franchise.
Yeah, also some of the kills. Like I just think the kills just weren't that strong in this film.
Nah, not at all. Yeah. How do you feel about the punching off the heads kill? What do you feel on that one?
I mean, it was entertaining. It was cheesy, but it was entertaining. I mean, unrealistic, but I dig it.
I get that. I'm not crazy about it. I'm just not a big Manhattan fan. That's why of that movie, but it is what it is. Okay, so we call this the Horror 3. And we, at the end of each ranking for our future ranking videos and for this one itself, we're gonna be ranking in threes at the end of the ranking. So we go from the final girl, the Jason portrayal, and the kills in the movie. So after each ranking, we're gonna say those three things, called the Horror 3.
Final girl, Jason, and kills.
Moving on to number 10, we're gonna go with Friday the 13th Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell. So for this one, I do like a fair amount more than Part 8. This movie is just very, very funky. I think it is the most funky in the franchise because the majority of the film, you don't get Jason, which is
it's very confusing seeing different people being portrayed as Jason, just killing, you know. It's like, what's going on?
It's definitely separates itself from the rest of the franchise, but I do give it credit often when I talk about this movie. I give it credit on changing itself up, because if you're 9 movies into a franchise, you gotta change it up.
And also the goreness and the kills too.
That too, I think, I think all that stuff's great. I think the gore is great in that. I do think it's interesting for what it is. Is it weaker opposed to the rest of the franchise? Yes, but I do think it's entertaining.
Yeah, same here.
All right, I can hit you with the Horror 3.
All right, so final girl, Jason, and kills. All right, so number 9 for both of us right now is Jason X. So actually for me, I'm thinking about moving this one up because after watching reviews, I'm kind of appreciating this film more. It's very unique.
Yeah. I do think this movie is incredibly entertaining. I think it is obviously like the other two. I think all three of these ones we've talked about are like the funkiest in the franchise. They're definitely like separated from the rest. But out of the three, I think X is definitely the best. I think it is a fun watch, and I do gotta say that it has one of the best kills in the whole franchise with the frozen face kill.
No.
It's just easily one of the best. I think it gets a reaction from any viewer for the first time.
Yeah, I remember when I watched it, I was like, oh my God.
When I knew that scene was coming up, he was about to watch, I was like, he's gonna react to it because it's just such a good kill.
Yeah.
And it's like, he freezes her face, which is cool in itself, and then he smashes it like a slushy.
Gruesome,
Yeah.
beautiful that kill,
great,
that was
dude.
great. I really dig the funkiness because, I don't know, I like the sci-fi. The sci-fi is kind of cool. It's so different, it's kind of like gives you like a Star Trek.
Yeah, it was very different, but I feel like it worked for what it was.
Yeah, definitely.
I got it, and I have to talk about the Uber Jason look, the whole space look of Jason, I think is great. I think
Yeah,
it's
cybernetic, like
Yeah.
Darth Vader right there.
Yeah, I think it's completely badass. I am a big fan of it. I know it's a love-hate look of his, but I'm on the love train for that one.
Yeah, and we definitely have to talk about the scene that referenced the original Fridays at the end when you had the girls that took their tops off and they were like, ooh, let's have premarital sex,
Yeah.
ooh, let's do drugs. It's just like a funny stereotype for the horror films. It's so funny.
They literally, horror films in general, but they literally take a shot from their original films in the franchise. Like Friday 1, 2, 3, 4, like all those movies are taking shots at.
Yeah, and then they redid the Jason Part 7 kill, the Friday the 13th Part 7 kill when they took the sleeping bag and they smashed it and they just kept smashing to the tree. That was so funny.
Fan favorite kill right there that they tributed in that movie.
All right, so the horror 3, final girl, Jason, and kills.
So my number 8, I think it's different than yours. Mine is, I'll go first. Mine is Part 7, which is...
No, it's the same.
Really?
Yeah, no, that 7's mine too.
So we have the same amount of 4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess it's the new blood for both of us. I think 7, I do think is... You might move up X, but I think 7 is definitely better than the bottom 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Like, I'm certain on that. This is, I think, where it starts to go in a weird direction of the franchise. I think 1 through 6 is kind of like a steady timeline, and then 7, they just do this crazy stuff with like
The telekinesis and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's like a whole different step that they took in this movie, which I respect. You're changing up 7 movies.
Make it different, definitely makes it different,
Yeah,
not the
make
same
it
as the others.
I think, for me personally, Jason's look in this is one of my favorites. He's just got like the chain around his neck,
the skeleton too.
Yeah, the big
Through the
spine, shooting the cracked mask. I think everything about that is great.
Yeah, zombie Jason look is dope. Really the main thing of 7, you kind of already touched on it, was his look. His look was insane. Like with the just zombie Jason dude with the skeleton ripping through the shirt.
That's just massive points right there. So we'll hit you with the horror 3.
Final girl, Jason, and kills.
All right, so number 7 overall for me, which is different than yours, so we just looked. Mine is Part 5. So Part 5 for me is very interesting. The whole story of, they give a different spin on the Tommy character from 6. We'll get into 6 later, but 6 has a different take on him. 5 has this one where he like loses his mind all the years later after 4, all that kind of crazy stuff. And then this one, what they did very unique was it wasn't even Jason the whole movie. It was a fake Jason in 5. I know you're not talking about 5 yet, but it was the fake Jason in 5, Roy. I mean, all movie you don't know it's a fake Jason, and I think his kills in it are awesome.
Yeah.
I think he has some like really, really cool kills. And I think the whole story itself in 5 is very good. And I gotta say, you already knows what I'm talking about, but we gotta hit you with the song real quick from 5. Ooh, baby, ooh, baby.
I'm done, dude.
So my first viewing of 5, I loved the demon character. His name is Demon, the guy who ate the enchiladas and he runs to the toilet.
Oh, no damn enchiladas! Oh.
He is fantastic. He is our guy. He is our boy. One of our favorite side characters in Friday the 13th, just because how funny his scene is. Like, the fact that he runs into the toilet, his girlfriend's on the outside, and they're singing a song to each other moments before his death. It's just great. It's just everything about it's great. I love 5, but it's number 7.
That scene definitely helped put it up higher for me. That scene was so funny, dude. Iconic.
But you talk about your number 7. Yours is different.
Yeah, for me, it's the original. Okay, yeah, it's the original Friday the 13th.
This one right here.
So part 1, Jason's mom, Mrs. Voorhees. I thought she did an amazing job as portrayed. Like, she was creepy with that dissociative identity that she had between her and her son. That was creepy as hell.
I'm trying to hold my thoughts on the original for now, but I agree. Yeah.
The fact that it wasn't Jason, like the whole part 1, I'll be honest, I thought it was Jason up until the end, which I thought the plot twist was great, but then I was like,
you didn't know that?
I did not. I did not, because I had that first person point of view.
Yeah.
So you never really know who the killer was. I was always thinking it was actually Jason in that movie.
Okay.
So
I honestly thought you knew that, honestly.
Did not. Definitely a part that I liked, but in a way I also disliked it because it wasn't Jason, and I just wish the mom had a bigger part in the movie, but also because the first person point of view, it might have made it more obvious. So I kind of understand that, but yeah.
But you get the appeal. It's a classic on all cylinders. People love it. You're not the only one. A lot of people don't have this as their favorite. All right, guys, this is a little different because 2 different movies, but doesn't change the fact that we're about to hit you with the horror 3.
So, final girl, Jason, and kills.
All right, guys, that leads us to number 6 on the overall scale for both of us. And once again, we're different. So 6 for me, it's Friday the 13th, 2009 remake. Every movie below 5 for me, I love, definitely love. I think the remake is awesome. I think Jason in it is one of my favorites. One of the most brutal takes on Jason you see in all the franchise. It's just very entertaining, the whole movie. I think the way they tributed Friday the 13th, the way they kind of, they put a little elements from the original, they put a little elements from the second one, and then they put like sprinkles from the whole franchise itself, like 4, 3, all that. I think they did all that really, really well in the remake. And I really don't have anything bad to say about it. I just like the other ones more. Yeah. That's really it. I think the kills are great, and just the overall story, the main characters that survive near the end, the brother and sister thing, I think all of that's great. So I really nothing bad to say about 9. That's just my next ranking.
Yeah, so for my 6th, I would say it's actually part 5 now, so mine was one above yours. Most of the stuff, of my opinion, is basically what you said. Like, I was gonna talk about the ooh baby scene, because that was definitely one of my favorite scenes in all of the whole Friday franchise.
Just because of the laugh we got out of it, just the situation.
Yeah, but yeah, no, definitely the fact that it wasn't actually Jason in that film, just like I said for part 1, it was kind of a letdown for me, because I'm here for Mr. Voorhees.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, like, for me quizzing you, honestly, these are some answers I don't even know of. Like, you were legitimately let down by that. Like, what'd you feel about that? Confused?
Well, I think I even mentioned after we watched the movie, I was like, oh, dude, it wasn't actually Jason. I think this one might be a low one for me. And then you actually defended it. You were like, nah, but you got ooh baby in this. You got ooh baby in this film.
Like
you got all these awesome kills.
I was talking about 5 earlier. I like 5. I don't think you could take away. I know it's not him, but I feel like your first response is like, oh my God, it wasn't Jason.
But I feel like a lot of people, like if it was Jason at the end, it would be so much higher on everyone's list if it actually was Jason. Because the movie itself and the kills and the characters are great.
Yeah, especially like there's a big kill in 5 where he does the thing around the guy's eyes on the tree. Yeah. And like
yeah. And then what was it? I forget what it was. You can correct in the comments. I think he has like hedge clippers on that girl's eyes.
Oh yeah, the one who was laying in the forest and he got clipped right in the eye. Oh, some very brutal kills you can't take away from 5, even if it was Jason or not. If it's Roy, then credit to Roy for that one, dude. He was a brutal killer. Time to hit him with the horror 3.
All right, so final girl, Jason, and kills.
All right, guys, we are boiled down to the top 5, and now a top 5 is a strong list for each of us. So my number 5 is the original Friday the 13th. And it is only one place higher than the remake, and I want to say it was a tough decision to put one over the other, but my brain currently can't put over a remake over the original. I know that's kind of like, why not? But like for me personally, it's like, I just can't do it yet. Maybe in the future. Once I know the series even more and more in the future, maybe some rewatches, maybe it'll change. But as of right now, the original is my number 5. I know it's not Jason until the last few seconds when he's a kid and he jumps out of the water. But I think the whole camera angle, just everything this movie does, I think separated itself and from the other horror movies at the time. And I think that's why it gained such a massive following and led into a series of so many movies and an icon and all that stuff. I think the original set everything up.
And Mrs. Voorhees was one of, I forget the name of the actress, but she was one of the greatest actresses.
Betsy Palmer is her name. Yeah, and I'm such a big fan of Mrs. Voorhees, Betsy Palmer's performance, all that stuff. She creeped the hell out of me. I saw Friday the 13th for the first time only like 2 years ago. And when I watched it, she scared the hell out of me. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I was walking down my hallway in the house after checking like rooms. I thought she was super creepy. And in a lot of ways, I think she's creepier than Jason.
But yeah, no, definitely the way she portrayed herself, like I said before, like the dissociative identity disorder, that was
insane. But yeah, that's my number 5. I have a lot of love for Friday the 13th, the original. I get the corniness and the characters aren't the best in the series, like the side characters, but I love the original.
My 5th favorite is Friday the 13th Part 6. So I know a lot of people, that's your first, like a lot of people's first favorite. 6 is really high on people's list.
I think 6 and 4 are the most common number ones.
Yeah, the only reason it's not higher for me, like I'm not the biggest fan of the whole, like I like the realism part, like getting like electrocuted and coming back to life. Like it's a great movie. Everything after that's great. I was never a big fan of that stuff, like just being electrocuted and coming back to life. But definitely a great movie. Really good kills. The RV kills, oh my gosh. And the scene of Jason standing on top of the RV, one of the most badass Jason scenes in the whole franchise, if not the most badass scene.
Definitely.
So.
All right, guys, so that's our number 5, but we're gonna hit you with the horror.
All right, so the final girl, Jason and kills.
All right. All right, you saw Pooh just take off his glasses, so you saw...
Sorry about the glare, guys.
You guys saw a glasses Pooh, a rare occurrence of Pooh in a video right there. All right, so we're down to the 4. So my number 4 is Jason Part 6, Jason Lives, which was your 5. But it's my 4, and me personally, what your big gripe was like the electrocution thing. I thought it was awesome. I thought the opening scene in it was great. I thought it changed up from the prior movies, which were a little more simple. Nothing wrong with that, but I think this movie took a big step in its own way, and I think that's why it was so successful.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that point of view, like in the electrocution, just my personal preference.
No.
For people that do like it, like I definitely understand that.
Yeah, it's fine. He came back to life. I just think that is just like I said about 7 earlier, this is one of my favorite Jasons, him in Part 6. I think it's just one of the best Jasons all franchise, one of the most brutal, like you touched on, I gotta say it as well, the RV kill is one of my favorites. Just that whole flip, just him on top of it, just completely badass. The song, the Alice Cooper song that was playing over it, such a different take on a Friday the 13th to have like rock music and stuff like that. I just love it. I love 6, such a big defender of 6, and that's why it's my 4.
Yeah, so for me, 4th place goes to the Friday the 13th remake, so the 2009 remake. So for me, I did put this one over the original. So for me, I didn't have that problem, but...
It's a red flag for some, but a lot agree with you, so speak your mind, whatever.
For real, no, I think that probably the Jason in this movie is one of my favorites, if not my favorite portrayal of Jason. Like, he's creepy in that, he's scary in that movie. Like, a lot of times, like, you're rooting for him, like, laugh at the kills. Like, a lot of the scenes in this movie when Jason's chasing the characters, it's kind of creepy. Because you get like that new cinema vibe too, the newer sound effects.
It's so different seeing like a newer Friday the 13th movie. It's so different.
Yeah, and like especially the scene when they're two of the characters are hiding, and like he puts the lights on, he starts ripping stuff out of the way, trying to find them. That was...
You feel the tension. You feel it.
Like that was like, you see like a more ominous Jason in the remake. So that's my take on it. That's why I put it above the original. Plus Jason was in the remake. So
fair. All right, guys, time for the horror 3.
All right, so final girl, Jason and kills.
The top 3.
Top 3.
We're very near the bottom here.
For 3rd place, mine goes to Friday the 13th Part 2. I definitely like this one because it's your first time seeing Jason in action. Like, even though he doesn't have the iconic hockey mask, he has the sack over his head, right? And it's your first time seeing him actually kill people. And, you know, I got to give a shout out to the wheelchair guy scene.
Mark, this is Mark.
Yeah, that's another thing I love. Yeah. That's another thing I love about the franchise is like, the franchise doesn't care. Jason doesn't care if you're a girl or if you're a guy or if you're handicapped. He has no mercy. Like, he doesn't discriminate anyone. He will kill anyone. It does not matter who you are. He will brutally kill you. And the scene of the wheelchair guy falling down, oh my God. It's ruthless. It's like, you don't feel bad for anyone. That's what I like, though.
Yeah.
You know?
It shows how brutal he is and how heartless and how deranged the man is.
Yeah, it's also not just for this movie, but like for like most of the movies, you see the guy like about to get laid and like they get their hopes up so much, and next thing you know, they're getting like a hatchet in their head. Yeah. It's like, dude, you got so ditched. I'm sorry.
That's great. My 3, a little different from my number 3 ranking. It is actually part 4, which is one of the fan favorites, and it's one of my favorites. 4, I think, is incredible. I think the story is arguably the strongest. I think the cast of characters is also arguably the strongest. Jason is amazing. The whole Tommy character getting introduced is great, and that we gotta talk about the side character played by Crispin Glover, he's in the Back to the Future movies as George McFly. His name in Friday the 13th is Jimmy. In it? Jimbo, Jimmy. Jimbo. Dude, one of the best side characters.
Oh, for real.
One of the best. Like, this guy, his whole character, like just everything about him was so entertaining. Just all the way to the point of leading up to his death in the kitchen with the corkscrew in his hand and the cleaver in his face. It's just everything about it was great.
I'm gonna save it for when I talk about part 4. I'm not gonna say anything about that, but I might think.
4 is I love 4. It's my number 3 for a reason.
Speaking of 3, let's hit you with the horror 3. Final girl. Jason and kills.
We might match on it, we might not, who knows? But my number 2, it's kind of fitting. It's Friday the 13th Part 2 at number 2. So this, to me, is the perfect Friday the 13th film. I think it is a better version of the original. I think it's very similar to the original. It's just a better version of it, and it's with a debuting Jason, who I think his kills are just better. I think his kills are a step above Mrs. Voorhees' kills. So yeah, I mean, like what he just talked about in 2 was the wheelchair death. It's one of the best deaths you see. Like it's just so good. You see this character, you kind of feel for him. You know, he's trying to talk to that girl a little bit. He's never gonna walk again, but he had hopes that he's gonna walk again. And he goes outside, and then not only does he get chopped in the head, but the image of wheeling down the flight of steps, dude.
And dude, literally right before his death, he says to the girl, "I don't plan on being in this wheelchair forever.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I plan on walking again one day," and then he dies right after that.
So
like,
good,
bro,
dude. It's so good though.
He got ditched so bad. I can't get over that, dude.
He got ditched, but it was great.
Yeah.
And something else I have to touch on is I think the final girl, and this is probably one of my personal favorites. Her name Ginny. I thought she was a great final girl.
Yeah,
I thought she was a really good character. And I think the ending, I know you were kind of like weirded on that scene at first, but like when she puts the Mrs. Voorhees sweater on and she like trips out Jason.
Yeah, and uses like the psychology war.
I think that's one of the best scenes all franchise too.
Yeah,
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, after letting that like season in my head about like how like she tricked Jason.
Yeah.
And, like, because she was a psychology student too.
Yeah, I think she's one of like the smartest ones too, like final girls. Yeah, that was great, and that scene is so good. But yeah, that's my number 2.
All right. Aren't you gonna say anything else with the horror 3?
No, but you gotta say your number 2. You didn't say it yet.
I didn't say it yet. Oh my God. So for my number 2, I have to say that is part 4. So Friday the 13th Part 4. I thought this film was just, like you said, so many strong elements about it. The characters are strong. I think the story was stronger. You know, best side character, I'm about to say it now, Jimbo. You know,
he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT, the side character.
Like, well, like, he gets laid, he thinks he's hot shit, and then all of a, like, he's like in the kitchen, hey! He's like yelling, I forgot what he was saying. What do you remember what he said?
Oh, where's the corkscrew? He's like
he was like so pumped.
Dude, he was so happy, dude. His life.
He felt like a king. And then the next thing you know, he gets like something stabbed through his hand, and then he gets a cleaver through his face, dude. Like brutally killed.
It looked visually great too.
But that's another one. Like in this case, like he got laid, but then he got killed after. which iconic Friday kill right there. So, yeah, Jimbo Goat. You also get the kid Tommy in part 4, you know?
Which, like I said when I was talking about 4, is he's an iconic Friday the 13th character. Tommy Jarvis, he's in 4, 5, and 6. So
Yeah, he's one of the few characters besides like Ralph that repeat.
Yeah,
like,
Ralph was in 2,
Yeah.
1 and 2.
And he's just a great character. Even at the end, like when he shaves his head, uses makeup, he like can make these like cool masks and everything. And I just think it's so funny him looking out the window and like looking at like these naked girls and and then he goes to like the lake with all these girls skinny dipping, and you just see him staring like, whoa. Like that would so be me as a kid. It's so relatable. I laughed so hard at that scene. I remember we both died at that.
It was funny as hell. It's fantastic. So guys, it's time to hit you with the horror 3.
All right, so final girl, Jason and kills.
We have made it to number 1.
Ooh, we agree.
We agree on this,
Back to where we started, agreeing.
which I know this is unpopular.
Yes.
I get it. But our favorite, 1, 2, 3, is part 3. Friday the 13th Part 3. It's an iconic film for just the fact itself that he got his hockey mask in this movie.
Yeah, Shelly from Shelly.
From Shelley, yeah. From again, I think I think he's the top tier of side characters in all the movies, definitely.
Yeah, Shelly's probably one of my all-time favorite characters.
Yeah, he was great. I remember when we were watching it live, you were already telling me when we were on the 3rd movie, you were saying to me how he was already like one of your favorites. But yeah, I know a lot of people have issues with this movie. I know they get mad about the 3D shots and stuff like that. And some people find it like slow and boring at times. None of that stuff bothers me. I think the 3D shots, I can honestly look past it. Like I kind of have fun with it. Yeah. Like I don't mind.
And if you don't like the film, we understand. Like there were some really awful acting scenes in that. Like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Bad acting, a few scenes.
Yeah, but still, some of the kills in that film, like the handstand walk guy gets like chopped in half
and it's
upside
great
down.
because earlier in the movie it shows him like, walking on his hands, and then it finally leads up to him walking on his hands, and Jason just cuts him straight down the middle. One of the best kills.
Yeah, another one, I think it's the first time we see Jason with the hockey mask is...
The harpoon gun?
Yeah, the harpoon gun, when like you see that shit, like the girl's looking, you see it from the point of view and the knife just goes...
She thinks it's Shelly, I think, right?
Yeah, she's like, Shelly.
She's like, Shelly. He shoots the harpoon gun right in her eye, and it looks so good.
That is one of my favorite kills of the whole franchise.
I think. We also got to talk. We have so much to say about 3, but I got to say it now, our favorite Jason. 3 to me is that's Jason. Like, even before I saw the franchise, that's who I imagined Jason.
That's what I was gonna say.
The green shirt, the jeans, and like the hunchback, and like just the head, the skin.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like when I was about to watch Friday the 13th, like part 3 was everything I imagined
Same.
Friday to be.
Me too.
Like that's what I thought. Like the Jason, I love that Jason. Like the way he's dressed, the way he looks. That first scene of him just shooting that girl in the eye and then just walking away like it was. I heard a YouTuber say like another like a long day at work.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, yeah. The actor who played him was Richard Brooker, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but now you do. I think he's the GOAT, Jason. I think he really is.
Same here. And
we got to talk about also the final girl. We think she's amazing.
Yep, she's my favorite final girl.
Yeah. I think she has the whole story of like a flashback with Jason, like she was getting attacked by him, but I mean, a lot of people have issues with that. I really don't. I think it switches up the story from the original 2 movies.
She also gave him a run for his money at the end.
I was gonna get into that. The final fight is probably my favorite final fight, definitely. Yeah, I feel like that had you like on the edge of your seat. Like one gets the upper hand, and this one gets the upper hand, and this one gets, part 3.
And we understand part 3, like a lot of people, a big criticism is that it has nothing new from like part 1 and 2, but sure you do. You got Jason in the hockey mask. It's not in, I think it's the first film that it's not in a first person point of view the whole time.
Yeah,
so like,
it shows a lot of Jason. It shows a lot of him.
Yeah, I think the storytelling is a little bit different throughout it.
It definitely is. Yeah, that is our number 1. Very different, but I mean, if any of you guys agree with that, please comment it.
Yeah, leave comments. I like learning more about the Fridays, so I will definitely read your comments.
Yeah, we gotta hit it with the horror 3. You got it for our number 1.
Final girl, Jason and kills.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. That's a wrap for our first video. Thank you
That's it.
guys for who's ever watching this our first time.
And, you know, we appreciate the support. If you stick with us, we appreciate it.
Thank you guys for joining us for our first ever video, and
Stay tuned.
Horror 31st out.
Right out.
Do you like scary movies? Subscribe to Horror 31st for more killer content. See you next time, and of course, happy Horror 31st.